But now, because the NBA is in full swing here, we're going to get all sorts of transaction talk over the next couple of days, because the draft itself stinks, Stugotz. The players that you can get in this draft are not as valuable as all the conversation that's going to start happening around the possible transactions. Jeremy's out by a board there in the other room with a series of permutations here that get kicked off by the Knicks now saying, we're in the game, we're a player away. Jeremy, what do you have over there?
Dan, there has been a ton of player movement already, and it's going to be a huge night. NBA draft, like you said, not a ton of top-tier talent available, but there's a ton of top-tier talent available to the NBA, and we saw one player in Mikal Bridges moved yesterday. The Knicks acquired the power of friendship with all 4 of their Villanova players. In return, Bojan Bogdanović goes to the Nets, but it's the 4 unprotected first-round picks, the 1 protected first-round pick via Milwaukee, and the second-round pick that go to the Brooklyn Nets. That, in turn, makes them sellers. So what happens with guys like Cam Johnson, Dorian Finney-Smith, Dennis Schroeder, Ben Simmons being brought up on draft night?
Thank you.
They also have a couple of their own picks that have now gone back. But the reason they ended up with a couple of those picks, another trade on top of the Knicks trade. It was with the Houston Rockets. And it's being reported that the Rockets have interest in players on the Phoenix Suns. They acquired the 2027 first-round pick of Phoenix. They acquired the ability to swap for the Suns' 2025 first-round pick and to swap for their 2029 first-round pick. Now, what does that mean? Could they trade for, say, a Kevin Durant? Well, according to Woj, Kevin Durant may be staying put. Maybe Houston's not that interested, but they'd be interested in Devin Booker. Now, that's a guy who could be traded to the Rockets if the Suns were willing to blow it up. And there are several other players potentially on the move. How about Paul George here? No more with the 76ers. Apparently, interest has waned. So what's going to happen with him and his player option? Are the Warriors going to be aggressive and move for Paul George? You also have players like DeJounte Murray, Trae Young, potentially Brandon Ingram, all available tonight. How about De'Aaron Fox, who has 2 years left and has yet to sign an extension with Sacramento? A fellow friend of Bam Adebayo. Speaking of those friends, Donovan Mitchell. Now, they have a new coach in Kenny Atkinson, who is now gone to Cleveland, but no extension signed just yet. So, Donovan Mitchell and the Heat, is that a potential for tonight or beyond? Or, as Stephen A. Smith mentions Kevin Durant this morning, the night of the NBA draft, and Phoenix wanting to move him, all of a sudden New York's out of the sweepstakes. The Nets are out of the sweepstakes as they tank. And who could want to acquire a potentially older scorer to go along with their older alpha and get a sort of quiet killer in Kevin Durant? Well, maybe, just maybe. Dan? It's the Miami Heat.
You're breathy.
Billy,
Are you out of breath?
Billy, can you go out there and translate for me, please? I need a Heat translator on that inefficient mess.
How about Josh
Inefficient?
Giddey and Alex
He did a
Caruso?
bang-up job. That was.
I got to be honest. He's pretty
inefficient.
good at that. I mean,
Yeah, he's really good at that.
It is a mess that he's made on the board. I was hoping all of those points.
This doesn't
and
make sense to you?
arrows, I was hoping that would be a drawing of something.
The
Billy.
Rockets
is.
are a really interesting team to monitor here, Jeremy. Thank
yes,
you for opening my
the
eyes
Rockets
to that.
were Rockets were a lot better than anyone expected them to be last year. I don't think we had Van Vliet and Dylan Brooks creating that much of a difference with that team. Billy, what are the translations here? You are over at the Heat board and you are writing on the board. What is that word you just wrote? I can't read it from
that
here.
board on word on the board here next, Heat, says nothing. So the way that this is going to work for the Heat is Kevin Durant is going to be headed to the Heat for nothing. Devin Booker is going to be headed to the Heat for nothing. And then we have Donovan Mitchell, I agree, headed to the Heat for nothing. Who else is on this board? Hartenstein. You want him? He's going to be headed over to the Heat. And they're going to trade nothing for him. And then that's going to be how tonight plays out for the Miami Heat. They're going to get all these players in exchange for
Excellent
nothing.
night. Excellent night for Pat Riley and the Miami Heat. They keep all their players. They get all the players that everyone else wants. And
and we give up 4 picks for Bridges.
That's right. And you give up all your first-round picks for a no-time All-Star.